10. Blue Ghost Tunnel, Thorold, Ontario. In the quiet town of Thorold, Ontario, hidden beneath the overgrown brush, lies a tunnel that few dare to enter. Known as the Blue Ghost Tunnel, this eerie, abandoned passageway has become one of Canada's most terrifying haunted locations. Those who enter often report strange blue lights, whispers from unseen forces, and the chilling feeling of being followed. Some leave shaken. Others refuse to speak about what they saw. This is not just a tunnel. It is a doorway to the dead. Constructed in the late 1870s, the Blue Ghost Tunnel was once part of the Welland Canal system, designed to allow trains to pass beneath the waterway. But from the beginning, this tunnel was cursed by disaster and death. One of the most tragic events occurred in 1903, when a train collision inside the tunnel took the lives of multiple crew members. Witnesses said the impact was so violent that flames burst from the tunnel entrance, filling the air with the screams of the dying. But that was only the beginning. Nearby, the Merritt Cemetery was relocated to make way for the expanding canal. Over 900 graves were disturbed, and many believe that the spirits of the restless dead found their way into the tunnel, angry, confused, and seeking revenge. Not long after the tragic train wreck and the graveyard's disturbance, bizarre occurrences began. Workers reported seeing shadows darting through the tunnel, hearing whispers echoing through the stone walls, and feeling ice-cold hands brush against their skin. Many refused to return, claiming the tunnel was cursed. As the years passed, paranormal investigators and thrill-seekers ventured into the tunnel, hoping to witness its supernatural activity. They were not disappointed. Incidents. The blue glow. Many visitors claim to have seen a soft blue light hovering in the darkness, drifting as if a spirit is searching for something, or someone. Disembodied voices. Some have captured eerie EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, of men screaming, children crying, and whispers warning, "Get out." Phantom footsteps. Even when standing completely still, visitors hear heavy boots walking behind them, but when they turn around, there is no one there. The shadow figure. A dark, human-like figure has been spotted standing at the entrance of the tunnel, only to vanish when approached. Some say it belongs to one of the train engineers forever trapped inside his metal grave. The Blue Ghost Tunnel is more than just a forgotten relic of history. It is a gateway between worlds, a place where the dead refuse to rest. Visitors often leave with scratches on their arms, whispers in their ears, and nightmares that never fade. 9. Old Finch Avenue, Toronto, Ontario. Toronto is a city of bright lights and bustling streets, but in its quieter corners, dark secrets linger. One such place is Old Finch Avenue, a desolate stretch of road that has gained a terrifying reputation over the years. It is a place where phantom screams pierce the night, where ghostly figures vanish into the mist, and where travelers often report an unshakable feeling of being watched. Those who know its history understand one thing: Old Finch Avenue is not a road to be traveled alone. Old Finch Avenue is one of Toronto's older roads, once a quiet path used by early settlers and farmers. But as the city grew, so did its reputation for mystery and misfortune. Over the years, countless accidents, unexplained disappearances, and chilling deaths have occurred along this eerie stretch. One of the most well-known stories is that of a young girl who was murdered here on her birthday. Her tragic death is said to have left a permanent scar on the road, binding her spirit to the place where her life was cruelly taken. It wasn't long after the young girl's death that the first reports of ghostly encounters began. People walking or driving along the road at night claimed to hear a soft, childlike voice singing in the distance, a voice that soon turned into a blood-curdling scream. Even more disturbing, those who dare to sing "Happy Birthday" out loud on the road often report hearing a faint, ghostly voice singing along, or worse, a whisper right in their ear. Incidents. The birthday girl's cry. Many have claimed that as they drive through the road at midnight, they suddenly hear a high-pitched scream echoing through the trees. Some even report seeing a shadowy figure dart across the road, disappearing before they can react. The vanishing apparition. several motorists have reported seeing a young girl standing by the roadside, dressed in white. But as they slow down to look, she fades into the night air. The phantom touch. A chilling number of visitors claim they've felt small, cold fingers brushing against their arms or necks, as if a ghostly child is reaching out for help. Whispers in the wind. On particularly quiet nights, some have reported hearing soft giggles or whispers coming from the trees, though there is no one in sight. Old Finch Avenue is not just another road, it is a place where spirits linger, a place where the past refuses to fade. Some travelers return with only a chilling story to tell. Others are never the same again. 8. Highway 666, New Brunswick. In the dense forests of New Brunswick, Canada, there is a road that few dare to travel after dark. The very name, Highway 666, sends shivers down the spine, evoking images of something sinister lurking in the shadows. For years, this lonely stretch of road has been the site of unexplained accidents, ghostly apparitions, and terrifying encounters that leave travelers questioning reality. Some say it's just an unlucky number, but those who have driven its path know the truth. Highway 666 is cursed. Long before it was given its infamous designation, this highway was a treacherous route used by early settlers. The dense, misty forests surrounding the road made travel dangerous. Wagon accidents, sudden rockslides, and mysterious disappearances became common, leading locals to believe the land itself was cursed. As the years passed, the road was expanded, but the tragedies only grew worse. In the 1950s, a horrific collision between a bus and a logging truck left dozens dead. Survivors reported hearing blood-curdling screams and phantom voices in the wreckage, even after all the bodies had been recovered. Some believe that this was the moment the spirits attached themselves to the road, forever doomed to relive their final moments. Not long after the deadly crash, drivers began reporting strange occurrences along Highway 666. Some claimed to see shadowy figures standing along the roadside, only for them to vanish into thin air. Others described feeling an icy hand touch their shoulder, despite being alone in the car. Truckers who frequent the highway at night have often spoken of seeing headlights in their rearview mirror, but when they pull over to let the vehicle pass, there's nothing there. Incidents. The vanishing driver. Several reports tell of a black vintage car that appears out of nowhere, tailgating drivers aggressively. But when they pull over to let it pass, the car simply disappears into the mist. The phantom hitchhiker. Many have seen a woman in a tattered white dress standing at the edge of the road, her face hidden by her long, dark hair. Those brave enough to stop claim she gets in the car, but by the time they reach the next town, she is gone, leaving only an icy chill behind. The hellhound of Highway 666. Some drivers have encountered a massive black dog with glowing red eyes, appearing suddenly in the middle of the road. But when they swerve to avoid it and stop to look, the creature is nowhere to be found. Disembodied screams in the wind. On quiet nights, when the mist rolls in, travelers have reported hearing agonized screams carried by the wind, as if the souls lost on this road are still crying out for help. Highway 666 is more than just a name, it is a road of lost souls, a place where the dead refuse to rest. 7. Meritt Highway, British Columbia. Deep in the heart of British Columbia, winding through vast forests and towering mountains, lies a road with a chilling reputation. The Meritt Highway, officially known as Highway 5, is no ordinary stretch of pavement. Many travelers have reported unexplained shadows, ghostly apparitions, and eerie encounters that defy logic. This is no highway for the faint of heart, especially when the sun dips below the horizon, and the ghosts of the past awaken. The Coquihalla Highway, commonly referred to as Meritt Highway, was built to provide a faster route through British Columbia's rugged terrain. But its construction came at a cost. Dangerous working conditions, unexpected landslides, and accidents during development claimed the lives of many workers. Even after completion, the highway became notorious for its treacherous driving conditions, especially during harsh winters when snow and ice made travel perilous. Over the years, countless accidents have occurred along this stretch of road. Some say the spirits of those lost in tragic crashes never left, forever wandering the highway where they met their fate. Not long after the highway opened, strange reports began to surface. Drivers spoke of unseen hands grabbing their steering wheels, mysterious figures appearing on the roadside, and vehicles that seemed to lose control for no reason at all. Truckers, who often drive through the highway late at night, have told stories of seeing shadowy figures standing in the middle of the road, only for them to vanish as they get closer. Some have even claimed to witness an entire ghostly vehicle driving beside them, only to disappear into the mist. Incidents. The vanishing hitchhiker. Travelers along the Meritt Highway have picked up a young woman in distress, only for her to vanish from the passenger seat before reaching the next town. Some believe she is the spirit of a woman who died in a car crash decades ago, forever searching for a ride home. The phantom truck. On foggy nights, many have reported seeing a truck with blinding headlights speeding toward them. Just as they brace for impact, it disappears. Some say it's the ghost of a long-lost driver, still trapped on the highway. The screaming wind. On certain nights, when the wind howls through the mountains, drivers swear they can hear faint, chilling screams, as if the voices of those lost to accidents are carried through the air. Unseen passengers. More than a few people have felt a sudden weight in their back seat, followed by the unmistakable feeling of being watched. But when they turn around, there's no one there. This road may be a vital connection between cities, but it is also a place where the past refuses to rest. 6. Highway 2A, Alberta. In the heart of Alberta, Canada, where the highways stretch endlessly across the prairies, there exists a road that is feared by those who travel it at night. Highway 2A, an old and lesser-used route between Calgary and Edmonton, holds a dark reputation. Long-haul truckers, late-night travelers, and even locals speak in hushed tones about the strange encounters along this eerie stretch of road. Highway 2A was once a major route before modern roads made travel faster and safer. But back in its early days, the highway was notorious for deadly accidents. Poor lighting, sharp turns, and reckless speeding led to a series of fatal crashes, earning it a grim nickname, the Road of Lost Souls. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in the 1950s. A young woman, dressed in her finest white dress, was on her way to meet her fiancé when her car skidded off the road during a storm. Her body was found the next morning, lifeless, her dress stained with rain and blood. Since then, travelers have reported a mysterious woman in white, appearing at the side of the road, seeking a ride that never arrives. But she is not the only lost soul haunting this highway. Not long after the deadly accidents, strange sightings began to plague the highway. People driving late at night felt an unexplained presence, a sudden drop in temperature, or even saw figures standing on the roadside, only for them to vanish upon closer inspection. Incidents. The vanishing hitchhiker. Countless motorists have reported seeing a woman in a flowing white dress standing by the roadside, signaling for a ride. But when they stop to pick her up, she disappears. Some claim she appears in their back seat, only to fade away moments later. Phantom headlights. Many truckers have described bright headlights appearing behind them in the dead of night, as if another vehicle is tailgating them at high speed. But when they pull over or look in the mirror, there is nothing there. Disembodied screams and knocks. Some who break down along Highway 2A report hearing loud knocking on their car windows, but when they turn to look, no one is there. Others claim to hear agonizing screams from the darkness, as if the spirits of past accident victims are still reliving their final moments. Shadowy figures in the fog. On foggy nights, drivers have seen dark, human-like figures standing in the middle of the road. But instead of moving aside, they pass right through the car, sending chills down the driver's spine. Highway 2A may seem like just another road during the day, but after sundown, it becomes something else entirely. Many who have encountered the spirits along this highway speak of an uneasy feeling that lingers long after they leave, as if something has followed them home. 5. Bell Island, Newfoundland and Labrador. Off the rugged coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, in the cold, unforgiving waters of the Atlantic, lies a place where the past refuses to stay buried. Bell Island, a once thriving mining town, is now known for something far more chilling than its iron ore deposits. Beneath its windswept cliffs and abandoned tunnels, whispers of the dead still echo, and eerie lights flicker where no living soul remains. In the late 1800s, Bell Island became a booming mining community, rich with iron ore. For decades, miners toiled deep underground, chiseling away at the earth, sending shiploads of ore to fuel the industrial world. But with great riches came great tragedy. Mine collapses, gas leaks, and explosions claimed countless lives, their bodies swallowed by the dark tunnels, never to be recovered. Then came World War II. In a terrifying attack on Canadian soil, German U-boats surfaced near Bell Island in 1942, launching torpedoes that sank 2 Allied cargo ships. The explosions shook the island, killing more men and leaving a haunting presence in the water that locals say lingers to this day. As the years passed, stories of strange occurrences in the abandoned mines and along the rocky shores of Bell Island grew. Miners who ventured too deep reported hearing voices, as if those who perished in the tunnels were still working beside them. Others saw shadowy figures flickering in their lantern light, only to vanish when approached. Then, there's the Bell Island boom, a mysterious, unexplained explosion that rocked the island in 1978. The blast was so powerful it shattered windows, knocked people off their feet, and sent a shockwave through the air. To this day, no one can fully explain what caused it. Some believe it was a natural phenomenon, while others insist it was something far more sinister, a supernatural release of energy from the restless spirits below. Bell Island has become a hotspot for paranormal activity, with both locals and visitors reporting encounters that send shivers down their spines. Whispers in the tunnels, even though the mines have long been abandoned, many who venture inside report hearing muffled voices, distant pickaxes striking stone, and the eerie sound of breathing, when no one else is around. The phantom miner, a shadowy figure in an old mining uniform, has been seen walking near the entrances of the abandoned shafts, only to disappear into thin air. Unexplained lights, strange orbs of light have been spotted moving through the mist at night, floating along the shoreline or deep within the mines. Ghost ships, fishermen claim to have seen phantom ships emerging from the fog, only to fade away before their eyes. Some believe these are the souls of the torpedoed sailors, still trying to complete their final voyage. The Bell Island boom mystery, decades later, people still claim to hear distant rumblings, as if the explosion is still replaying itself in time. Bell Island is a place where history and the supernatural intertwine. Whether it's the spirits of lost miners, the echoes of wartime tragedy, or an unexplainable force beneath the island, one thing is certain: the past is not done with Bell Island. 4. Buck Hill Road, Round Lake, Ontario. Deep in the dense forests of Round Lake, Ontario, there exists a lonely stretch of road where the trees seem to whisper secrets, and an eerie glow sometimes pierces the darkness. Buck Hill Road is no ordinary place. It carries a tragic past, one that has left a mark on those who dare to visit after sundown. Many claim to have seen a mysterious light moving through the trees, while others swear they've heard the desperate cries of a lost soul, forever searching for something, or someone. The origins of Buck Hill Road's haunting date back to the early 1900s, when the area was home to scattered logging settlements. Among these settlers was a hard-working logger and his young daughter. They lived a quiet life, but tragedy would soon strike, leaving a story that would be whispered for generations. One fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the logger returned home from work to find his daughter missing. The small child had wandered into the vast, unforgiving wilderness that surrounded their home. Desperate, the father grabbed a lantern and set out into the night, calling her name, his voice breaking with panic. Hour after hour, he searched, his lantern's flickering glow cutting through the darkness. But the girl was never found. Some say she was taken by the wilderness, others believe she fell victim to something far worse. Since that tragic night, Buck Hill Road has never been the same. Those who pass through after dark often report seeing a glowing lantern swaying in the distance, as if someone is still searching, still calling, still hoping. Locals claim that if you stand quietly at the edge of the road, you might hear a man's voice calling out in sorrow, echoing through the trees. Some have even reported seeing a shadowy figure carrying a lantern, forever roaming the woods, his grief never fading. The legend of Buck Hill Road has drawn many thrill seekers, but not all have left unscathed. Incidents. The Phantom Lantern. Countless visitors have reported a glowing light moving through the forest, appearing and disappearing without explanation. Disembodied cries. Late at night, some have heard a man's voice calling out, his tone filled with pain and longing. Unseen hands. A few unlucky visitors claim to have felt a sudden, icy grip on their shoulders, as if something, or someone, was trying to stop them from leaving. Mysterious footsteps. Many have reported the sound of footsteps approaching, but when they turn, no one is there. Vehicle malfunctions. Cars have been known to stall inexplicably, their headlights flickering, as if the road itself does not want them to leave. Buck Hill Road is not just another spooky legend. Many who have come searching for the ghostly logger leave with an eerie feeling that follows them home, a sense of sorrow, a whisper in the wind, a flicker of light in their dreams. 3. Ghost Road, Port Perry, Ontario. In the quiet town of Port Perry, Ontario, there exists a stretch of road where the past refuses to rest. Known as Ghost Road, this eerie, desolate path has been the subject of spine-chilling encounters for decades. Locals warn that if you drive down this lonely road at night, you may come face to face with something unnatural. Long before it became one of Canada's most notorious haunted roads, Ghost Road was just an unremarkable dirt path leading through the countryside. But its dark reputation stems from a tragic motorcycle accident that is said to have happened in the early 1950s. According to legend, a young man, perhaps a rebellious teen or a thrill seeker, was racing down the road on his motorcycle when he lost control. Some say he hit a sharp curve, others believe he crashed into a fence or tree. Regardless of the details, the result was the same, his life was cut short in an instant. From that moment on, Ghost Road would never be the same again. Not long after the accident, strange sightings began. Travelers and locals alike started reporting an eerie, floating light appearing in the distance at night. This ghostly white orb would move along the road before suddenly vanishing. Some believe it's the headlight of the doomed motorcyclist, eternally replaying his final ride. Others claim to hear the distant roar of an engine, but no vehicle is ever seen. Over the years, countless brave souls have tested their luck on Ghost Road. Many leave with stories they wish they had never experienced. Incidents. The phantom light, perhaps the most famous phenomenon, this glowing orb is seen floating in the darkness, sometimes coming straight toward visitors before disappearing into thin air. Disembodied engine noises. Late at night, when the world is still, the unmistakable sound of a motorcycle can be heard revving in the distance, growing closer, until it suddenly stops. Unseen presence. Those who park their cars and step outside often report feeling watched, as if unseen eyes are locked onto them from the shadows. Some even claim to hear footsteps approaching, yet no one is there. Temperature drops and electrical malfunctions. Sudden, chilling cold spots occur without explanation. Cameras and phones malfunction, headlights flicker, and car engines mysteriously stall. Many thrill seekers visit Ghost Road, daring to wait for the phantom rider to appear. But some leave with more than just a scary story. Many report disturbing dreams, an unsettling feeling that lingers for days, or the sense that something has followed them home. 2. Screaming Tunnel, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Hidden in the shadowy outskirts of Niagara Falls, Ontario, there lies a passageway that few dare to cross after dark. The Screaming Tunnel, a desolate, graffiti-stained underpass, has long been the subject of spine-chilling legends. To the unknowing traveler, it's just an old railway tunnel. But those who step inside at night, especially with a single match in hand, may experience something they will never forget. The Screaming Tunnel was built in the early 1900s as part of a railway system meant to connect local farms and rural areas. Its purpose was simple, allowing farmers and travelers to pass safely beneath the railroad tracks. But even in its early days, the tunnel carried a sense of unease. The darkness within seemed to swallow sound, and eerie echoes would send shivers down the spines of those who walked through. However, what turned this place from a simple passageway into one of Canada's most haunted locations is a story filled with sorrow and suffering. There are many versions of the legend, but the most infamous one speaks of a young girl who met a horrific fate inside the tunnel. Some say she was a farmer's daughter, running for her life from a burning house nearby. Others believe she was a victim of something far worse, a father's unspeakable rage or a murderer's cruel intent. As the legend goes, she was set ablaze within the tunnel's walls, her agonizing screams echoing through the stone passage as the flames consumed her. The only thing left behind was the scorched ground where she fell. And from that night on, the tunnel was never silent again. For decades, visitors have claimed to witness unexplainable phenomena inside the Screaming Tunnel, especially when performing a ritual said to summon the girl's restless spirit. Incidents. The match ritual. It is said that if you stand in the middle of the tunnel at midnight, strike a single match, and hold it steady, an unseen force will blow it out before it can fully burn. Some say it's the girl's breath, her spirit forever trapped in that moment of terror. Disembodied screams. On still nights, eerie cries have been heard echoing through the tunnel, high-pitched, desperate, and filled with pain. Unseen hands. People have reported feeling a sudden, icy grip on their wrists or shoulders, as if someone, or something, does not want them there. Ghostly apparitions. Some have sworn they've seen a shadowy figure at the tunnel's entrance or a faint, flickering light deep inside, only to vanish when approached. Many skeptics have entered the Screaming Tunnel, laughing off the legend, only to leave with scratches, chills that won't go away, or the overwhelming feeling of being watched long after they return home. 1. Texas Road, Amherstburg, Ontario. Deep in the heart of Ontario lies a road shrouded in darkness, where the past lingers in whispers and shadows. Texas Road, a seemingly ordinary stretch of asphalt in Amherstburg, is anything but normal. It has earned a sinister reputation, spoken of in hushed tones by locals and thrill-seekers alike. To the unknowing traveler, it may seem like any other rural road. But those who dare venture here at night often tell a different story, one of eerie encounters, ghostly figures, and an unsettling feeling of being watched. Texas Road dates back to the early days of Amherstburg, a region steeped in colonial history and war. This area was once a key strategic location during the War of 1812, a time when blood was spilled, and lives were lost in violent battles between British, American, and Indigenous forces. The road, lined with old trees and farmland, was a route often used by settlers and soldiers alike. Over time, the area saw its share of hardship, unmarked graves, tragic accidents, and brutal conflicts. One legend speaks of a settler family that met a grisly fate at the hands of highwaymen. Another tells of a young woman who was murdered on the road, her spirit now forever searching for justice. But the most well-known tale revolves around an old, abandoned church and the spirit said to guard it. As time passed, strange occurrences on Texas Road became more frequent. Travelers reported unexplainable lights flickering in the darkness, phantom footsteps echoing along the dirt path, and whispers from unseen entities carried by the wind. The most chilling stories involve headless apparitions, believed to be the spirits of soldiers from the War of 1812 who met a gruesome end. Some have claimed to see a mysterious woman in white, her presence marked by a sudden drop in temperature and an overwhelming sense of sorrow. Others speak of demonic growls near the abandoned church, as if something unnatural guards its remains. Many who have dared to explore Texas Road at night return with unsettling tales. Some of the most terrifying encounters include the vanishing hitchhiker. Several drivers have reported picking up a young woman walking along the road late at night. As they drive, she remains silent, until she suddenly disappears from the passenger seat. The phantom car chase. some thrill seekers have claimed they were followed by an invisible vehicle with bright headlights, only for it to suddenly vanish when they looked back. The Whispering Woods, those who have ventured into the surrounding forest report hearing voices calling their names, only to find no one there. The cemetery shadow figure, near the old graveyard by the church, a tall black shadow with glowing red eyes has been seen standing motionless, watching visitors until they flee. Texas Road is not for the faint of heart. Many who mock the spirits or attempt to challenge them often leave with mysterious scratches, unexplained bruises, or a haunting presence that follows them home.